So, in this video, I'm going to talk about how to learn calculus. And I say this not only as somebody who took calculus previously, obviously, I had to at some point to have gotten to this point, but also as somebody who has seen students learn calculus and now has a better idea of what it takes to be successful in calculus. Okay, and I want to be clear, these are study tips that are not particular necessarily to calculus, but they tend to have the most success here. Okay, now this is the cover of the book that we'll be using, Calculus Early Transcendentals, specifically the 8th edition. It is not that dense of a book, surprisingly. So you can read this, okay? And just for the sake of illustration, I want to show you the contents. So this is the contents page, and we'll be covering chapters 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 in this class, which, you're looking at all the section headers and you're like, wow, that's a lot. And it is a lot of information. That's definitely true. But more than that, okay, remember we're in the business of learning calculus not as a set of tools, not as a base of knowledge, but as a framework of thinking. Okay, and with that, what do you need to be successful here? So first of all, number one, super important, you have to practice. Okay, so that's partly what the homework is for, right? So the homework is a way for you to build those skills by practicing. Okay, there's going to be a lot of objectives here, learning objectives here, that are based on, can you perform this task, or can you interpret what's happening here? And the homework is your front line of getting to practice those essential skills. There will be additional opportunities. For example, I'll offer a practice exam, and I'll point you to some practice problems that you can use. One of these is a website that I'll share quite frequently called Paul's Online Notes. If you're familiar with that website, is a fantastic tool. It's been around since I've been in college, probably earlier than that. And it covers more or less the exact same stuff that we do. Plus, this website also has stuff for trig and for the other levels of calculus. But moreover, it just has a lot of different practice problems, more different perspective, lots of solutions, lots of explanations. It's a fantastic tool, and we'll be using that as well. Okay, now back to the book. Right, so how do you want to learn in this class? Right, so what's the basic format? Right, so the essential flow for this class is going to be, you want to read the book, you want to watch the video, and then you want to read deeply. Okay, so I know that this seems like, oh, where's the teaching really happening? And so I want to make clear, I'm guiding you on this learning journey, right? And you're not taking directly the knowledge from my head to yours, right? Um, so the work involved here does involve reading the textbook. Okay, so for instance, let me take us to the very first section that we're going to cover, which is 1.1. So I say skim first. All right, you don't need to, go into detail, be like, oh, let me write down all the things that it's saying, highlight everything. Just kind of look for things here that are helpful, right? So for instance, everything that's in a blue box is a definition or a theorem, right? There's examples that are given here. There's figures, right? Just kind of look for those. Look for bolded words. Right? Bolded words are keywords. There's explanations of the definitions too, right? Every example is labeled with a number, and it's marked by pink lettering. Each example has a solution. There's also try it questions. Okay, so some of the questions are, so you have examples, but they also give you an opportunity to try them. Okay, so just kind of skim through, right? And you'll see, different subtopics, different questions. But importantly, right, this is just the first read through. So now you're like, okay, well, I think this section is going to cover, functions and symmetry and all these other topics. Okay. Then you'll want to watch the videos that go with this section. I'm going to be creating videos that you get to watch that go more in depth and actually try to explain what's going on here. Okay. These videos are on the shorter end. Okay. They're going to range between 5 to 15 minutes. Okay. They're not long, like lecture length videos, but they're focused on topics in that section. And then once you have those two things and you're like, okay, I kind of understand, I'm not entirely sure yet, like I want to tackle the homework, but maybe I should, see if I can understand more about this section. Then go back, read deeply. Now you want to highlight. Now you want to write things down that make no sense or that are a little bit more challenging for you. Okay, so that's that. Now, note taking. Okay, how do you want to take notes? All right, so when you're skimming, you don't necessarily need to take notes. Right, just kind of skim, just kind of absorb passively, read through it. Kind of look at the things. It's the videos where you want to start taking notes. Okay, now quick and dirty does the job. Okay, just make sure you're getting the essential information down. Right. Keep in mind that in the videos, right, you can always pause, go back if you need to, right? And then you can also once you have that, read deeply again, okay, and then rewrite your notes. I'm not saying you need to, okay. I'm not, your grade school teacher. I'm not going to, be on your case about it. But I do recommend that you rewrite your notes because then you'll gain deeper understanding. Okay. And one of the things I always suggest that seems to help out a lot, whenever you're not sure what's going on, you're like, wait, how did you get that? Write down your question. Okay. Whenever it's happening in your notes, write down the question. Okay. Notes are not, a textbook, right? You're not writing this down and present it to somebody else. This is for you. This is for your own purposes. So write down your questions. Write down, I don't understand what this means, right? Because then you can go back and be like, yeah, this didn't make sense. Let me ask my instructor. Let me ask the internet, right? All right, so enough about note taking. This class, when I first took it, I actually took it in high school. Okay, I took AP Calculus. And my teacher, God bless her soul, she's fantastic. I think she's still teaching. On her syllabus, she had a picture of a mountainside and two people climbing, right? And the one of them was below, and then the other person was above, and they were kind of holding a rope together. That is, I think, the most essential distillation of calculus as a journey, because you want to collaborate. Collaboration is essential. So, form your study groups. Now, I'm going to provide opportunities for you to reach out to your peers through the discussion boards. Okay, use the discussion boards. They're a way for us to form a community, a learning community. So when you feel like you're doing not so well, that's an opportunity for you to reach out for help. Okay, it's an opportunity for you to share your experience. I've been struggling with this topic, but then I kind of understood from this. And if you're doing well, or if you're understanding, this is an opportunity for you to be the one that's holding the rope and helping the others come up the mountain, right? So share that knowledge. I'm going to be providing a way for you to share with each other, okay? So collaborating on study guides, collaborating on the practice exam, those are all great ways to form that learning community. The one thing is you can't collaborate on exams, but that's standard. Ask for help. That's number one. That's the baseline. Ask for help. I have office hours. Come to office hours. You can reserve a spot. You can email me. Hey, can I come to office hours? Yeah, come on. Come by. Seek answers in other resources, right? So I hate to be that millennial that is like, just Google it. But we have access to an unprecedented amount of information, misinformation too, but who's going to lie about calculus on the internet? Too boring. Um, there are a lot of tools out there. We have Desmos available to us as a graphing calculator. There's Paul's online notes, Khan Academy. I have, my tried and true resources online that I try to look for. But you may know others, and your peers may know others as well, right? Um, and of course, the discussion boards, you should always, always, always ask for help. Okay, each module is going to have a discussion board. Ask for help, and this is an opportunity for you to also answer questions for others, right? And that will also help you in the end, because the more you explain a concept that you're grappling with, the deeper you understand it. Okay. And my final recommendation to you, as you're working through the homework, as you're working through the videos, tackle what scares you first. And it's counterintuitive because as humans we are um, averse to pain, right? We want to avoid discomfort, unpleasantness, and so when you go through these sections, some of them may be okay for you, some of them may be really good for you, some of them may be really difficult for you. And so when you're studying, when you're preparing, I really recommend that you tackle what scares you first, because that's where you need the most growth, right? And you don't grow without discomfort. You don't grow without practice. And ultimately, when you're done with this course, you're not going to be an expert. You're on your learning journey still. But as long as you continue to tackle the things that are scaring you, and you continue to try to grow and build, then that's the best we can do, right? Okay, so that's that on that. In the next video, I'll be introducing the first, the first ideas, a preview of calculus.